All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haroim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barakatah. Double homage to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who grew well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Muwan back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, all right, the end link done by Robo is insane. Okay. And I'm going to show you what that means with this video that I ran across in Instagram. All right. And this is the time that we about to enter into, man. These devils want to have actual robots, all right, performing procedures on people. All right. They ain't gonna no longer need no more doctors physically. You know, they're gonna have actual robots performing procedures on you. Okay. And that shit just reminded me of straight Matrix, you know, when you had Neo, I forgot which one it was. I think it was in the first one. Yeah, it was in the first one. When you had Neo, when he had his eyes opened up, Morpheus opened his eyes up and he had showed him uh basically when he was being unlocked from that bubble, you know, he looked down and he had all those, you know, you had nothing but humans in those little incubators filled with water, you know, and they were all attached to different, I guess you would say machines, right? And Neo ended up being unplugged. And when he was unplugged, you had the machine that came and grabbed him by his neck, you know, and then basically performed the procedure where he put that piece in the back of his head that was basically, you know, able to download data through that actual piece that he put in the back of his head. You see, and if you kind of really look at it through spirit, it kind of reminds you of what the neural link would look like. You see, and as a matter of fact, let me see if I can bring that up. Give me 1 second before I play that video. Oh yeah, perfect. Right. I do not own the rights to this video. It's just for educational purposes. All right. My bad, you keep seeing the glare. Matter of fact, let me turn off these lights. Yeah, I'll turn off the lights and it might be better to see it. See when you see when you see what they put behind his head, like I just totally lost it. When you see what they put behind his head, it kind of looks like a neural link, right? And like I said, it was just something that made me think of it, spiritually. All right. You had the whole robot performing a procedure on him to be able to unplug him, and then they put that thing in the back of his head, which was already there, but it was connected. All right. But once they disconnected it, they put something else in there. All right. And that's kind of like what the neural link would look like. All right. Hold on. Yeah. So, because then after that, they throw him down the chute. All right. So what I'm about to show you right now, all right, they're now speaking about, okay, and again, that was for educational purposes only. I do not own the rights to that video. All right. This is what's coming.
Elon Musk is talking about his Neuralink brain chips are going to be mainstream this year. Elon Musk is talking about his Neuralink brain chips are going to be mainstream this year. This right here says Elon Musk plans high volume production of Neuralink brain chips, and he wants these surgeries also to be automated. He doesn't want to put these into the hands of humans. It's sounding like he wants robots, machines to carry out these surgeries. They've already been doing that. If you guys haven't seen and heard the material, essentially they have like this machine that takes your head apart, puts the chip in there, and then puts your head back together. What Neuralink is, and
like that shit is insane. Just to hear that a robot could take your whole head apart and then put it back together, and put it in with a brain chip. You see, so whether it could be done or not, this is the intent of this devil. You see, this is him trying to play once again the role of God, the role of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Like he has power to do this shit, man. We know that the Lord has increased knowledge, all right, both on the right hand side and on the left hand side. But see, that's just going beyond. That's just way beyond pride, And these devils believe in nothing but science and their technology. You see, so again, like the scriptures tell you, Yahweh was not even in his thoughts. Yahweh was not in his thoughts. So they could care less about who they think who's truly giving them the power and intelligence to do these things. They think that it's their own power, their own intelligence that they have came across. All right, and that's why the pride of thine heart has deceived them. All right, but hey, this is what they really want to do. You see,
chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
People stop being fucking stupid, man. That's right. When it crashed this economy, man, this.
Which that's an older. Let me see. It goes in more. That's the brothers talking out there from. I believe that's from Charlotte. Let me go into it more.
Government, where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips. Right, there'll be no more cash, and this is giving me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish, and all money will be in your chips. And so, instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you,
there you go. Total control. That's what it's all about. That's what Esau wants.
And that's going into the Elder Gabar. And I believe there's another part right here. Oh, no, it's no more. Salaki. But the main part of that video was the beginning of it. She's got a bunch of pictures after that. All right. The main part was the beginning of it that they're now saying, which we've been hearing Mr. Musk himself, speaking about, bringing high level production onto these neural links, all right, in 2026. All right. But the fact that he wants robots to perform the procedures, that's what it's really about. The topic, that is insane. Okay. And this devil, all right, is taking it to a whole nother level. All right. And that's what Revelations, let's grab that real quick. Revelations 13 and 14 goes into, all right. It says, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Okay, and the miracle and the means of those miracles is going into the technology. Here it is that they're going to tell you that the technology is going to be basically a righteous thing. It's going to be a beneficial thing to your society. Beneficial for you. It's going to be able to make you a better person. Let's just say, I don't mean in the sense of righteousness. I'm meaning like just a better person in general is going to benefit your life in so many ways. Convenience, that's the main thing that they always speak about is convenience. Okay. But we know and we can see that none of this is going to be convenient because it's ultimately to make you sin before your maker. You see, to turn you away from your power. It's a branding upon the body. All right, an implantable device into your body to show that you worship this system, that you worship this image that they're bringing in. Okay, that you are not to be excluded from the new world order, but are part of the new world order. You see, and that's ultimately what they want you to be. They want you to be a good little boy. You see, they want you to be a digital slave. All right, in their society where they can use you for what they need you for, tapping into your thoughts, being able to control you completely. If they need you to, do something, they'll hack into your brain, man, and make you do it. It's just that simple. Okay. And, if you're against this system, all right, well, then you have to be excluded. You cannot partake in this thing. You are pretty much going to be unalived. All right. For not complying with their technology, not complying with their world order, not complying with their image. Some of us are going to have to be martyrs. Some of us are going to have to be beheaded, you see. But, we're ready for that. We are ready to die for Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. You see, you have to strive for the truth until death, because we know that death, all right, under a guillotine, all right, or us just being persecuted and put, to death for Yahweh's sake, it automatically comes with a crown, you see, and we have to prepare our minds for that, because that's what we're going to enter into. Okay, we're going to enter into that time. The hour of temptation is right around the corner. It's already here. It just hasn't been made mandatory. Okay, and with all the shit that's going on right now, all right, 10 days, what is it? 10 days, 11 days into 2026, man, it's wild. It's wild. A lot is happening right now, especially going in with war, rumors of wars. All right. NATO splitting up from, has literally split up from the United States. Germany's is taking over, coming to help Greenland. Man, it's getting real crazy out here, man. Okay. And this is all Bible prophecy. This is why you have to be in the spirit of prophecy, because that's what a true prophet, all right, is going to speak of, the spirit of prophecy. All right, let's grab that. This is Revelations 19 and 10. And it says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh. Okay, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Okay, and the fact that it says worship Yahweh, you see, because that is the whole duty of man, to fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Right. So you're ultimately supposed to be doing what? Worshiping Yahweh. And this devil's trying to make you, through his technology, worship him. You see, as it tells you in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, it says he opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right. But the key factor is, or that is worshipped. See, this devil wants to play the role of the Lord, because we're supposed to worship Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You see? So he wants to have the same exact type of status You see, that's demonic as hell. That's just completely wicked. Okay. The only one that has the status of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, of Yahweh is his son, Yahweh Shai. All right, because and that's a cut on anybody that thinks that they're not supposed to worship Yahweh Shai, man. All right. The scriptures tell you that he thought it not robbery. All right. Let me grab that. This is Philippians 2:5. It says, let this mind be in you, which also was in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who being in the form of Yahweh, all right, in the form of power, thought it not robbery to be equal with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You see? So let me rephrase that again. All right. It says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who being in the form of, it says God here. All right. And we know God means power. All right. God can also mean, you know, going back in the Hebrew. All right. It goes into what? Alahayim. Okay. Going into the divine ones, the angels. Right. It says, who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God. All right. So talking about Yahweh. Okay. So the Lord was in the form of power. All right. And he was also in the form of a divine one, an angel. Right. And thought it not robbery to be equal with Yahweh. Okay. When he was Yahweh Shai, he was in the flesh. All right. But remember, in the beginning, when all things were created, all right, and when all things were created with the Alahayim, we were what? We were the divine ones, angels, you know, judges. Okay. But he thought it not robbery to be equal with Yahweh. You see? So, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, especially Yahweh Shai, is to be worshipped, all right, just like Yahweh. All right. Now, Yahweh is above Yahweh Shai because he gave us the order, right? You have Yahweh, and then over Yahweh Shai is Yahweh, and then over us is Yahweh Shai. All right. That's 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, right? 3rd verse. All right. It goes Yahweh, then goes Yahweh Shai, then comes man, then comes woman, you see. But like I said, the fact that this devil really wants to be worshipped, you know, when the Lord told you in Exodus, let's grab that real quick. All right. This is Exodus 20 and 3. It says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. Okay. So we are not to worship any of these things, man. All right. You're supposed to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and worship Yahweh. All right. This is Deuteronomy 32 and let's grab it from let's take it from 15, 32 and 15. It says, but Jeshurun, all right, waxed fat and kicked, thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Yahweh, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. Okay. And so let's grab in the NLT. It says, but Israel soon became fat and unruly. The people grew heavy, plump, and stuffed. They abandoned the power who made them. They made light of the rock of their salvation. You see, both Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. You see, and why? Because the Lord is a jealous power, man. So the Lord don't want you to be worshiping anything other than him. You see. because he is the power above all things, and there is none beside him, as the scriptures say. All right. It says they sacrificed unto devils, not to Yahweh, to gods who they knew not, to new gods that came newly up. And see, we're about to enter in a time of new gods. You know, a new God, digital Messiah, you know, something new to the world. All right. Because the old gods, all right, of stone, wood, this shit just got played out. You see, they don't need no longer to bring those out anymore, man. They already have you mentally enslaved, mentally trapped in their system of idolization, you know, of idols. All right. But because we're in a new era and we're in the time of the, you know, the fourth industrial revolution of things, which is the internet of things. All right. It's going to require a new God, a newly God created. All right. It's going to be through the way of this technology, this RFID, which is going to be your digital Messiah. You see, you're going to become a digital slave to it. All right. It says, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. You see, because it's all about fear. Of that rock, Yahweh Shai, meaning that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Yahweh that formed thee. And when the Lord Yahweh saw it, it abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. You see, and that's why the scriptures tell you in those last days that this truth will be barren of faith. Okay, because I believe Ecclesiasticus, I want to say the 5th chapter. Give me 1 second. Ecclesiasticus 5. I mean, not Ecclesiasticus, 2nd Ezra 5 and yeah, 1. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the days shall come, that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. You see? And why? Because this is a generation in whom there is no faith, man. These people have no faith, all right, in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, when you go into Isaiah, the 1st chapter, it tells you that in verse 5. All right. It says 6, from the sole of the foot even onto the head, there is no soundness in it. You see why? Because they are, you know, their whole head is sick. Okay. Their whole heart is faint of truth. You see, that's why they revolt more and more. Okay. So from the sole of the foot even onto the head, there is no soundness in it. All right, meaning what? No sound doctrine, no sound doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, no sound faith. All right. It says, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. You see, because the only thing that can cure you, heal you is this word, is this ointment, this oil of this truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. And without it, all right, you will always remain sick in the head. You will always remain, you know, faint in the heart. All right, faint of faith. You see, and that's why the Lord is ready to, you know, do what he's always done, you know, turn his back on those that never wanted to, you know, turn to him. Okay. And, you know, that's why the scriptures say we shall see what their end shall be. You know, we're going to see what their end is going to be. It's going to be total destruction. All right. For not putting their trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but putting their trust in the shadow of Egypt, which is going to be their shame and confusion. You see, these niggas going to line up for these RFIDs. They're going to allow these machines to, you know, do procedures on them and Neuralink their asses up, you know, and they're going to think it's for a good cause. They're going to think it's, you know, for pleasures of sin. Okay, because they're going to think that they're going to be able to go back to normal. All right, but just you taking that within itself is not normal. You know, what is normal? What is normal here in America? Nothing. Everything here is straight vanity, as the scriptures say, man. As Solomon said, I have seen all the works done under the sun, and all is vanity, man. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. So, you know, we have to be mindful of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man, of who your true power is. all right, and what can actually, deliver you from those days, all right. It's only Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in His word, okay. But that's pretty much the point, all right. As a matter of fact, let me grab Salakia. Let me grab Revelations. Matter of fact, I'll grab Revelations 3 and 10, and I'll end it with that. All right. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay. You see, so we want to be kept from that hour of temptation, man, which is right around the corner. Okay, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see, so it's going to come upon the whole world. It's a snare, all right, global snare to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Okay, hold that fast, meaning what? Hold this truth. Hold that faith. All right, fight that good fight of faith, even unto death, if it has to be. You see, let's grab this and I'll end it with this. Salakia. I said I was going to end it with the last one, but this popped up in my head. This is Luke 21 and 34. Before I do that, give me a second. Let's grab this and then I'll go to Luke 21. This is Luke 12 and 31. It says, but rather seek ye the kingdom of Yahweh, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. See, that's the true pleasure, the Father's pleasure, man. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's pleasure. Okay, not the pleasures of this world, but the pleasure of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Okay, jumping down to 34, right? For, as a matter of fact, I'll read 33. Sell that ye have and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. You see, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Let your loins be girded about, and your lights burning, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, Yahweh Shai, right? When he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, that they may open unto him immediately. You see, and this is why you have to, seek the Lord while he may be found. You see, so you can be protected. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, not putting off day to day, because sudden destruction is going to come upon the people. You see? So now let me grab Luke 21 and 34, and I end it with this. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this world, so that they come upon you unawares. For as a snare, right, that hour of temptation, shall it come on all of them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. You see, so you want to be worthy to escape all these things. You want to be able to be worthy to stand in front of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai when that day comes, man, and him telling you that you were a good and faithful servant. Okay, not a wicked and evil servant, not a slothful servant. You don't want to be against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, period, man. All right, you want to be on the Lord's good, gracious side, man. You see, so he can have mercy, kasad upon you. All right, and then you'll be able to be prosperous. All right, that's what it's about, us being prosperous in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, reaching eternal life. Okay, being able to be translated in from that vile body into that glorious body. Okay, so we'll leave it at that through the Spirit, Lord willing, that you were edified. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call the Lord and lie Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahushai. We are in beautiful times. Life, eternal's right around the corner for us at the end of the day. Where there, a new heavens and a new earth, where there dwelling righteousness, and that's what we seek for, man. We seek that kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and righteousness being established in this crooked ass society, crooked ass world we live in. You see? So with that being said, Shalom.